These are Grandma's famous carrots. They are delicious, and the best part is you can make these several days in advance. So first thing obviously we want to do is we want to cut the ends off. I like to just cut a little bit off the end. These are going to be too small. Now I'm going to be making 2 pounds of carrots. The recipe is going to be for 1 pound. Okay, once you have the roots and the tips of all the carrots chopped off, the next step is to go ahead and start peeling. Make sure you get all of the dirt and rough skin off of these. This step could take a few minutes. The prep work for this dish is by far the longest. Chopping, peeling, and then cutting into bite-sized pieces takes quite a while. The rest of the dish is pretty straightforward. All right, so now we're just going to cut these into bite-sized pieces. So whatever that is, it's about 1.5 inches. These smaller ends, you can just cut them and leave them whole. I'm going to put them just right in the colander. This one here, if it's a little thicker, I can make it a little smaller. And then this one, I'll just cut this one in half. This one I'll cut again. Try and get them as even as possible. Right? Sometimes the bigger ends, you can start with those. This one I'll do in quarters. This step can take a minute. Okay, I think these are about done. Okay, so we have all these carrots chopped up. I just put them right in my colander to store them. Now we're gonna add them to water that's already boiling. I didn't add salt because these are marinated carrots. So, and they're gonna marinate for a couple of days. So there's really no need to salt the water here. You can turn the heat up, bring it back to a boil. So just keep an eye on them and stir them occasionally. Just make sure they're not sticking together. So we'll let this boil for probably 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Take a fork or a knife and stick them in the carrot. Make sure it's soft on the outside with a little bit of bite in the middle. You don't want it to be mushy all the way through. Okay, these are done. They're mostly soft. So the knife goes into them easily. These are very hot, but you can see they're flexible, but they're still firm. But it took me a minute. They've been sitting in the hot water. So I'm gonna rinse them to stop the cooking. Yeah, if you wait a little too long and you're afraid they're gonna be too soft, you can rinse them like this. But don't worry, if they're cooked all the way through and soft, they're still gonna be very good. These are Grandma's carrots, so they're gonna be good no matter what. It's the marinade that makes them really good. So we're gonna let these dry up a little bit. So we'll let them sit here while we make the marinade. This is Grandma's cookbook that she sent to me back in the early 1990s when I first moved to California. Let's start with the marinade. So I'm gonna do 1/2 cup, and I'm gonna use olive oil. You can use avocado or any neutral oil, but they are marinated, so I feel that the olive oil just helps give it a little bit of a bite. These do have a little bit of a bite to them. It's got raw garlic, it's got the paprika and the black pepper. So it's got a little bit of a bite to it. They're very good. Okay, so to my olive oil, I'm gonna add my minced garlic. And that's raw garlic, so it's pretty strong. This is about 3 tablespoons of the green poblano peppers, fresh from my wife's garden. You can definitely use green bell pepper. You can use jalapenos if you want, depending if you want it spicy or not. This is not spicy per se. I mean, it's definitely got a little bite to it. These carrots, they're really good. But you can always add jalapeno if you like. Okay, we got the olive oil, we have the pepper and the garlic. This is the dried mustard, the salt, paprika, black pepper, this is dried basil. These are just some dried chives. If you have them, you can add some. If not, we'll just use green onions. We're gonna add some green onions as well, but I like to add a little bit of chive. Okay, we have some green onions. Of course, we have a lot of green onions in our garden, so you know we're gonna add them. Okay, good. We'll add our green onions to the marinade. Okay, I almost forgot the lemon. So you need about a tablespoon of lemon for each pound of carrots. So that's about a tablespoon.
So half a lemon?
That's about 2 tablespoons. So this was a little less than half a lemon for 2 pounds. You can adjust it. All right, we're just gonna give this a quick whisk, just to mix it up. I think I added a little bit too much pepper, so I'm gonna add a little bit more lemon. And I'm gonna add a little bit more olive oil because it's pretty peppery. And I do have quite a lot of carrots. Okay, that's it. So now that that is done, all you do, you take your carrots, just add them to this bowl. Now, if you have a Tupperware or something with a lid, that would be best. I'm just gonna use a spoon for now.
It looks good already.
Yeah, it looks familiar, right? And I'll cover this with saran wrap and we'll put this in the fridge. Okay, one thing I did forget to mention, because you make these several days in advance, you tend to forget they're there. So we've had more than one Thanksgiving when we were cleaning up or eating leftovers and we realized we forgot to serve the carrots. So just remember that because you're making them a few days in advance, you might actually forget they're in your refrigerator. And these will be done in a few days.